welcome to the Wealthy LaLa show with myself, Laurie Laursen. Today is episode 191-2. Yes, as I speak, at this time when this show is published, I will be in Niagara Falls, and Dr. Joe Dispenza's workshop will be beginning tonight. So think of me, send me some good juju. Anyways, I had a person ask me just recently about comparison, and let's just see here. I just wanted to look at this. Like on how people compare lives, and just about the comparing. Now, I'm going to kind of go based on just the energy of what I'm picking up and actually, even more so what I'm actually going off of what the universe is gifting me. So one of the things that the universe gift me, and I know, you know how I do this, like I'll start reading a book and there's something in it that I just find so fascinating. Well, this is where I went with regards to the comparing, and I feel like the universe had my back in having me read this part of this book. So this particular book is called Limitless by Laura Gassner Oding. Looks like it was just newly released this year too. So anyways, so I saw this one chapter called Changing Your Career, and she starts talking about Dolly Parton. So she says, I consider Dolly Parton to be my very own personal life coach, even though she and I have never actually met. And then she puts in brackets, girlfriend, if you're reading this, call me. So Dolly once famously said, find out who you are and do it on purpose. And really, can you think of anyone else on earth who did so well at finding out who she was and doing it on purpose, and damned unapologetically at that, than Dolly Parton? She is practically limitlessness incarnate. But unlike Dolly, most of us spend our time shoehorning ourselves into other people's definitions of success. In pursuit of the gold stars we hope they'll deem us worthy of receiving. Then we measure our worth based upon our haul, how high we jumped, how fast we ran, how precisely we towed the line. We evaluate our performance based on how well we executed their version of success, instead of on what's truly important to us. We've allowed ourselves to fall into the trap of determining our value based on what other people consider valuable. What a load of crap that is. And we have no one but ourselves to blame. So what can we do about it? Well, for starters, have an honest conversation with yourself about who you are when you are at your best. Being someone else's idea of success only makes you a lesser version of yourself. Striving to fulfill your own definition, on the other hand, will compel you to be more than you've ever expected. Given the choice between lesser and more, I pick more every time. Dolly sure knows how to be more. More sequins, more makeup, more silicone, more acrylic, more latex, more of whatever is in those wigs. This is who she is, and she's living it with every fiber, in brackets, natural or not, of her being. And look how many gold stars and gold records she's racked up. So this is where we discover our power to become limitless. When we show up to work wearing other people's clothes, pretending to be something we're not, faking it till we make it, we are constraining ourselves, we are at odds with ourselves. Dolly, as wonderful as she is, doesn't make sense singing in the area from Carmen at the Metropolitan Opera of New York. She knows what spotlights shine best upon her blonde tresses, and this provides her with consonance that can't be beaten. So consonance is a word that Laura uses in her book quite often. So to me, consonance is like congruence. So finding congruence it's congruence with yourself that just can't be beaten. So for you to find congruence, you must understand what spotlight shines best upon you. When your energy is aligned with your tasks, when your goals are aligned with your desired outcomes, when you can be like Dolly, entirely, wonderfully, audaciously yourself. And you can't do that without some of each of the four fixed elements. Then these are, again, elements that Laura talks about in her book here: calling, connection, contribution, and control. So if you want to know more about those things, I'm not going to talk more about them. But what I really wanted to focus about is Dolly, like Dolly Parton. Like, where does she say that part again? Oh, okay, and when you can be like Dolly, entirely, wonderfully, audaciously yourself. Like, can you be that, whatever that is for you? And that's what I find is really cool. When you look at someone like Dolly Parton, she is authentically herself, and we could judge that, she's got done up boobs, she's got done up hair, she's got done up lips, she goes whatever, and so it's not authentic. But you can see that it's so congruent with herself. You can see what it creates for her in her life. Like, it's something you really can't deny. And the thing is if you find someone like Dolly Parton triggers you or annoys you, like, you don't have to like her singing. That's not my point. My point is seeing someone live their authentic self, like to live with what is congruent with them. Whether someone is a hippie or a Dolly Parton, or someone who loves, I was going to say cowboy boots, you can just tell when someone is so congruent with what they're interested in. So they're not making themselves enjoy cooking when they don't like cooking. They don't play with tractors when they don't really like tractors. Like, I think of my 3-year-old grandson, he loves tractors, trucks, and all that kind of stuff. He loves walking around them. He loves the tires. He loves climbing up in them, the swathers, the combines, all that kind of machinery. Now, if you took him, who he is, and one time I did, I hoped I could maybe make cookies with him. Well, he was interested for about 20 seconds. Like, could he eat some chocolate chips? And then he was done, right? Like, he wasn't interested in that sort of thing. Now, what is actually congruent with yourself? And when we find ourselves comparing ourselves to others, then we've been given the message that that's valuable, and that whatever society, whatever other people have decided is right, like if you're skinny, that's right. If you jog, that's right. Or if you're a doctor, that's right. If you have a profession, that's right. And I was just recently, I read something where there was a fella who, worked where like the space shuttles are, and he was a cleaner, a custodian there. And someone asked him, like, why are you so happy with your job? Like, why are you so happy with what you're doing? He goes, because I'm a part of the success of the space shuttles going. Like, he didn't see his job as any less than someone who is, say, what do you call them? The pilot? I don't know what they call the astronauts, those people that fly. But is there an actual pilot? Is there a pilot of the astronauts? I don't know. I'd have to Google that after. So really, I think the biggest thing is when we compare ourselves, we've been given the message at some point in time that what we are and who we are is not enough. And that what someone else is and someone else is being or doing isn't enough. Whereas, we've all come on, like, that's like comparing snowflakes to snowflakes. Like, aren't they all beautiful? The same thing with flowers. They didn't come in, a rose didn't come in trying to be a daisy, or judge a daisy for being a daisy, or a rose judging itself for not being a daisy. Like it sounds really silly. And I really get that this is more of a female thing than actually a male thing. Men, you know, I mean, I can think of that one time we went to this Edmonton Eskimo and Saskatchewan Rough Rider football game, and there was a guy there who was wearing no shirt, had a really big S on his stomach, and he had a fairly big belly, and he's jiggling it for the TV camera. Like, he's proud, loud and proud. Now, how many women do you think would do that? Huh? Like, right? And I just really sort of get that we're changing out of this by with the way the Me Too movement is. And there's those singers, the country singers, the high women that are four country singers that are coming together and singing songs, for women and stuff like that. And I really get with sort of this patriarchal society that we've been in. There's been a lot of damage to women, and women judging themselves and women judging each other, and it's created a standard and a comparison that is just something that just can never, ever, ever, ever be lived up to. And yeah, like, if you're ever compared to someone else, like, really think about it, what it feels like when, and sometimes it's easier to see when someone else does it to you. Like, someone says to you, oh, well, this isn't as bad what you're going through as so-and-so. Like, oh gosh, this subject could go so far. Sometimes when you're in a situation, you could be very unhappy about your situation. You can find someone else who's in a worse situation, and then it can inspire you to look at your situation differently. So there's that one way of sort of looking at comparing situations. But what I'm talking about is the unfair comparing of your body to another body, your work to another person's work. And the thing I'm really getting to with this subject is, if we're comparing ourselves to other people, it sets us up for an impossible standard, because we're not other people. And I couldn't be a country singer star probably if my life depended on it, nor do I want to be. But imagine if somewhere along the line, someone had said to me, you should be a country singer, Laurie. And it was like, okay, I'll be a country singer. Without actually asking a question, I then try to be a country singer, and I judge myself because I'm not as good as other people. I never even asked myself if I ever even wanted to be one. I just did it based on someone else. A lot is projected on us as we're kids, as we get older, by society, by our families of origin, by our friends, that we should be a certain way. And none of us are meant to be the same. Like, I just really wish we could allow ourselves the freedom to be ourselves. Like, some of us are going to be more social than other people. Some of us are going to be quieter, and some of us are going to be louder and noisier, and some are going to be great dancers and not so great dancers. And some of us are going to have fun with, like my husband, he loves his NFL football. I could give or take it. I'm not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not right. I'm not right. We're just all so different. And I really get that we get hung up on the comparison thing when we don't have a sense of ourselves, when we don't actually have a sense of who we are, how beautiful we are, and the value, the innate, authentic, congruent value of truly knowing and being ourselves. When we don't have that, we don't actually even know that we're missing it. Like, I know that I didn't know that I was missing it. Like, I knew I was missing something, but I didn't know it was that. And the more I've discovered myself, the more I've uncovered myself, the more that I know what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what fills me up. Whether it's, working a part-time job, whether it's doing this podcast, like how many people would feel comfortable doing a podcast? Not very many people. And for me, it's really fun and it's a lot of ease. This is something that is authentic and congruent for and with me. But other people, if you're judging yourself because you don't do one, well, is it actually something that actually is congruent with you? And again, this is where questions come in, because it's like, is it something that is actually congruent with you, but it's just out of your comfort zone, so you're afraid to take the step? Or is it actually something that it just actually doesn't read for you? And what I mean read is it's just not light for you. It's not fun for you. It's, it's like, don't waste your time, So anyways, this was kind of an all over. It feels like it was sort of an all over here and there. Comparing yourself to other people is really such an incredible unkindness. And if I can, just before I sign off, just a few quotes that are on this is, I just wanted to say, comparison is the thief of joy by Theodore Roosevelt. Comparison is an act of violence against the self. That's Iyanla VanzantDo said that. Why compare yourself to others? No one in the entire world can do a better job of being you than you. And that's anonymous. Happiness is found when you stop comparing yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself with anyone else in this world. If you do, you're insulting yourself. Comparison is the death of peace and well-being. Comparison kills creativity and joy. Brene Brown. So, this is cool. Comparison with myself brings improvement. Comparison with others brings discontent. Really, the bottom line is finding the beauty in yourself. Yeah, just that. Find out the beauty that you are, who you be, how you rock, who you came into this world to be. Anyways, on that note, I gotta sign off. We went over today. How's it get any better? You guys have a great day. Thanks for listening.